Well, it's been a month, 35 days, and I've had a lot of time to think about it. And I have a confession to make to you all. I really like Taylor Swift. I do. I really like Taylor Swift, and all the young guys in the audience are like, this dude. And all the young ladies in the audience are like, woo. And everybody else just doesn't care. But at home, when Taylor comes on the Sonos that I program at weird times, I dance a little bit. Y'all dance at home, or are you too cool for that? Anybody in here dance at home to music? Yeah? The rest of you are just like, nah, there's no dancing or fun anywhere at our house, ever. Never have fun at home, ever. We only read the Bible and play video games. So that was just weird. So I do love Taylor Swift, and I went to Colorado, and I saw an adjacent niece who was so excited because she got to go to the Taylor Swift concert there in Denver the next night, which I'm really, really glad we left before that happened, because Taylor is like the Beatles of now. And those of you who love the Beatles, just realize it's true. I mean, these kids are wearing diapers to the concert so they don't miss a single moment. Could you imagine if we were that excited about church? Also, just get up and go to the restroom. It's fine. But I do. I really love Taylor Swift. I love all the jams, and I love that she's re-recording everything, and I'm really excited to hear all that because nerd. But I got to thinking about myself, why do I not talk about this in public? Well, that's because I want people to respect me. I've got a few college degrees. I want to be cool in front of the young guys right here. These two, I'm cool. I swear to God, I do cool stuff. I know about sports. Ask me later. I want to be cool, but I don't talk about how she's changed the industry, how she goes from country to pop and still is just this amazing, amazing presence on stage. I don't talk about that. I don't talk about the boundaries that she's broken for women in music, right? I don't talk about any of that because, again, guys, I swear I'm cool. I have Yeezys. Look, see right here? That makes me cool. So I don't talk about it. I just keep it bottled up inside. And I got to let it go. I got to shake it off. So aside from her liking cats, I got to thinking about what else I was keeping inside, what else I was not letting the world know. And I think I know for myself that I'm pretty good about talking about God to other people. It's not a hard thing for me to do. I'm not always in this collar. I don't walk around like I am priest and you will talk to me about Jesus now. That is, if you're doing that, A, if you're telling people you're a priest and you're not, don't do that. B, if you're going, we're going to talk about Jesus and now, probably not the right way to start the conversation. But I do. I go to bars and I sit there and somebody will sidle up next to me and I'll be like, hey, what's up? And they're like, hey, man, why are you talking to me? I'm like, sorry, it's a bar. I thought we did that. So I text them and, and inevitably it comes up. I'm like, so what do you do? And he's like, the last one, he was a nuclear physicist. I had nothing to talk to this guy about at all. He was like, I'm a nuclear physicist. I was like, oh, Lakers are playing. That's cool. And he said, what do you do? And I said, I'm a priest. And he goes, okay, that's cool. And then, as you know, as I wrote this week, or as some of you have stopped receiving the newsletter, I will tell this story. He said, after a few moments, after ordering his vodka tonic, how do you know you're going to heaven? How do you answer that question? It's like, well, I guess I don't. Which really struck me as the wrong answer, because I know I'm going to heaven. Why did I say that? I got nervous. It's like, whoa, it's like a blank space happened in my mind. And so a minute later, I said, you know what? Can I revise what I just said? I know I'm going to heaven because of grace, and only because of grace, right? Grace is the thing that saves us. Grace is what sustains us. Grace is what takes us through the hard, dark nights of the soul and back into the light. Am I wrong about that? It's grace all the way down. That's the article you missed. That's all paraphrased. Maybe I should just written that. But anyway, it's just grace. And he looked at me and said, that's the right answer. I was like, well, I didn't know this was a test, but nuclear scientist. So what are you going to do? So we talked a little bit more about faith, about what it was like to feel God in your life. And we parted as friends, and I came home, and I really, that conversation just stuck with me because I realized I'm not talking about faith enough with people in my personal life, in the public setting. Here, it's easy. You guys came here to hear a message about faith. Well, some of you came here because you were made to come here, and I'm sorry that a sermon has turned into a hostage situation, but here we are. But you came here to hear something about God, hear something about faith. In today's gospel, Jesus goes to the mountain. What is the first thing Jesus does? What's he do? He prays, right? He prays. Jesus prays. Is it weird that God prays to God's self? No. It's communication between Father and Son. It's that praying. Jesus goes away from people and prays and is changed by prayer, isn't he? He's glowing. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. If I'm one of the disciples at this point, Jesus goes up to the mountain, I'm there, he starts glowing, I'm probably not staying. I'm going to run away because that's frightening, right? How powerful that prayer could be. But Peter is awesome, so Peter stays. And here's where it gets interesting. Instead of saying, teach us how to pray like that, or you really are God, like kind of, you think they know, right? The disciples have an idea that he's God or at least messianic, but then that happens and they're like, okay, this is real. Like, this is really God. Holy crap, right? I mean, that's the moment that I would have anyway. I'd be like, okay, glow up, way to go. And so, what's the first thing Peter says? We should build you dwelling places so you can stay here. That's the human condition. We want to worship in private. We want to go to a place and keep God in a box that defines all our expectations of God and faith. Everything that meets up with the way we believe. That way we can look at other Christians and other people and say, they got it wrong. This is crazy. And then we can leave God in that box and go out into the world and not talk about God anymore for 6 glorious days. And then come back, sit a bunch, and be like, all right, we're back now. Put my Christian hat on. Y'all want to talk about Jesus? Why is that? Why do we do that? Why do we immediately see God in transcendent form and box him up? You know why young people don't come to church anymore? You know why people my age don't come to church anymore? We put too many rules on it. There's too damn many things that we're doing in this place that people think we're doing, and they're like, I can't fit in there. There's no way. They'll never accept somebody like me, or they're hypocrites. They don't know us. If they did, they wouldn't say that. They'd be like, they let you be a priest? Woof. They could probably agree with Father Dion, but me? I enjoy Scotch, the Dallas Cowboys, the LA Lakers, Taylor Swift, making jokes, taking my faith seriously and not myself. When did we become too cool to talk about God? When did we become too afraid? When did we decide that building a box to put God in and close the lid for 6 days was okay? When will we realize that baptism is not just a day where we come together and do something glorious, but that it's a life-altering event. That Wiley Jane will glow when the holy waters put upon her face. I'm not stopping. When are we going to realize that faith is so much deeper and important, more important than anything else we could ever imagine, right? When are we going to go out into the world and talk about God as though God actually is relevant in our time? When are we going to look at people who have been hurt by the church and say, you know what? I'm sorry. Somebody's got to say it. I'll apologize for them. Come to church. I promise you it's better than it used to be. When are we going to accept people for who they are and stop putting a checklist of things that you have to be before you even enter the doors? I'm sorry, you have to believe this way. You have to love this person. You have to vote this way. You have to walk this way. You have to dress a certain way. If I had a nickel for every single time somebody asked me what the dress code for this place was, I'd be rich. Well, not rich, I'd have a lot of nickels. You think God cares what you wear? No, the person in the back aisle, not y'all, cares what you wear. God doesn't care. You think God cares who you vote for? No, not really, because you've got your reasons, and if you don't, you just do it. Well, whatever. You think God cares how you treat your fellow human? Do you think God cares about how much you love yourself? Do you think God cares that you show up once in a while to God's house to have dinner? I'm not religious, I'm spiritual. I'm a golfer, I never go to the golf course. Do you think God cares one iota about all the bad things you've done if you really, really want to turn to God and say, I'm sorry? Do you think you'll be surprised who's in heaven? I think I will. Oh, they definitely going to hell. Not so much. And it's because of the baptism. It's because we're saved by grace and marked and sealed as Christ's own forever. We baptize children in this church and in this faith because in the first century, it was thought that Jesus was coming back immediately. And so why wouldn't you baptize your infants, right? You want to baptize your infants so that they can get into heaven, because that was the low theology of the time. Unbaptized people still make it to heaven. I want to make that very clear. God's grace is abundant. But choosing to do this acknowledges publicly and not in a box where you do it in private that you believe in the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, that you will stand up for this child and that you will help them to grow in faith, that they will grow more and more each day because you decided to sit next to them, not send them to church by themselves, but actually go and sit with them. And when they have a question, explain it to them. Walk with them through faith. Do it every day of the week. You're going to pray together at meals. You're going to explain why certain things on TV are probably not okay. And every time something happens in the world, you're not going to blame politics, you're going to blame evil. And you're going to say that evil is the absence of God. I know I'm hitting a lot of you pretty hard on this, and you're like, I don't know if I agree with you. You don't have to. That's the beauty of being human. We get to disagree and still love each other. We may not always like each other, but we always love each other. And we show that love when we stand up as they're about to do, and we say, when I ask you, will you uphold these persons in their baptism? What are you going to say? Are you going to murmur? Y'all like, hold on, let me look in the bulletin. It's in here somewhere. So there it is. We will with God's help. But will you? Is today the day you come to church and then you never come again till the next baptism or wedding or funeral? Is today you come to church because it's a magic moment? No, that's not Taylor Swift. It's a magic moment, and then you're done. That's it. That's all it has for you. Let me tell you some of the things church can offer you. And I know I'm going long, but I don't care. I've been gone for 36 days, so hostage situation. Church offers a community, number one. Anybody ever been sick in here? Did you have somebody come and check on you that wasn't related to you? Who? Somebody from the church, right? Yeah. Anybody lonely during COVID in here? Feeling distracted and really removed? Anybody get a phone call from somebody? Yeah. It was one connection. What about knowing somebody who's hungry and needs to be fed? You think we do that here? You're damn straight we do. We do. You think we care what people look like when we friend them, when they walk in the doors? We don't. You ever felt like you didn't belong somewhere? I mean, if you haven't felt that way and you're really cool like I was in high school, then I get it. I get it, totally. But if you've been lonely, if you've been searching, if you've been felt or left empty, if you can't feel the presence of God anymore, let me tell you a secret. God is there. God exists. God is here for each and every single one of us. No matter where we come from, no matter what we've done, no matter what we're doing, and no matter what we will do, God will always love us. Always. Because grace. The answer is always Jesus, but it's also grace. We don't need to build a box. We need to take God out into the world. We don't need to hide God away. Even in the smallest conversations. We need to stop looking at people for their sins that we think are sins and start looking at people as brothers and sisters. At least I'm going to. I'm going to let the world see who I am. And yeah, I may like Taylor Swift, but there's a whole lot more to me than just jokes on Sunday. I'm a Christian every day. And I want to be a better one. I don't want to just show up. I want to be present. I want to stand up for Wiley Jane. I want to be there and say, with God's help, I'm going to help you. And with that, let's get to it.